Hey traders, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about Forward Pharma, ticker symbol FWP, and I'm going to explain why I believe that this stock could see another 100% or more run up in the next week, leading to their trial decision that's going to come next Monday. This is a stock that had a massive run up at the end of July and early August, and I believe that there's going to be a second round because the math just makes sense. I'm going to break down the math. I'm going to break down what's going on with the appeal trial and what would happen to FWP if they won. And after that, I'm going to briefly look at the charts, just breaking down some key levels and indicators so we have a better idea of how to play it in the coming week. So without any further ado, leave a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's get started. Okay, so the story of the FWP appeal trial that is going to conclude next Monday is actually quite a long one. It actually spans all the way back to 2017, where there was kind of an argument with Biogen over who's going to be able to distribute and receive profits for a specific drug that both of them manufacture and produce in Europe. And then, Biogen at the time kind of agreed to pay them $1.25 billion for the rights to distribute the drug. However, after that, there became a patent dispute and it went to court. And in 2018, Biogen won that court trial. And as a result, FWP was left with nothing. However, they appealed the decision, and the appeal results were supposed to come out last year in 2020, but with COVID and everything, the hearing got pushed back, and now we are sitting with the appeal results announcement being speculated, or not even speculated, confirmed to be released next Monday, September 6th. We are very, very close. And the reason this is exciting is because if they win the appeal, they are going to receive that $1.25 billion in cash from Biogen and also a right to some royalties from selling that drug in Europe. Now, $1.25 billion might not be make or break for some pharmaceuticals. However, keep in mind, FWP is a very, very small float stock. It's a small company. The shares outstanding is only 6.89 million, and the current market cap is 6.89 million times the current stock price of $8.55, which is only $58.91 million. So there is a lot to be gained here for a $60 million company if they do indeed get $1.25 billion cash in hand. The only other part of this equation that we need to kind of keep in mind for the math I'm about to get into is the probability of winning the appeal. And right now, I have it at 25% plus or minus 15%. The reason I'm on 25% is first and foremost, when we did see the initial run up last month, that was kind of the number that was being thrown around. A few other people were kind of commenting on how they work in the industry, and, it's about a 25% chance of winning these appeal trials. And then I also did talk to a family friend over the weekend who works in patent law, who also went ahead and said that there's about a quarter of a chance of winning one of these trials. So I did that 25%, but I'm also going to kind of just give you a minimum and maximum scenario by doing that plus minus 15%. If you know anybody who has experience in patent law, or if you yourself have experience in patent law and think that this number could be different, definitely let me know and we can adjust our calculations. But that being said, this is important to note because it is going to kind of be our basis for, the arbitrage play and why we should see the value of the price rise prior to the announcement, kind of in anticipation of the results. Because, the main reason being that if the appeal is won, fair value would be a minimum of the $1.25 billion cash in hand. This means that the stock should trade at $1.25 billion divided by the 6.89 million shares, or a share price of $181.42, which is significantly higher than the $8.55 price that it is currently trading at. It's a gain of almost 2,000%. So that is definitely going to be very, very appealing to potential investors heading into next week's decision. However, it wouldn't make sense for FWP's price to rise all the way to $181 heading into next week's trial, because like I said, the probability of winning is only 25%. However, at 25%, it does make sense for FWP's price to rise to a quarter of the level of $181.42. Okay, it doesn't make sense for it to be lower than that because we can just do a more general example. Let's say, you go out to Las Vegas, you find a casino game where the probability of winning is 25%, just like we have here. But if you win, well, then all of a sudden your winning is 10 times higher than the amount you paid to place your bet. So in that situation, you would just keep doing it over and over again, because 1 out of every 4 times that you play the game, you're going to get a 10 times return on your investment. Meanwhile, the other 3 times, you're just going to, lose your single bet. And that's going to lead to a massive overall profit over time. So that's kind of the arbitrage opportunity that we're left with here. And that's what we're going to use to calculate what the fair value should be heading into the decision coming on September 6th. So the minimum fair value, this is going to assume a 10% chance of winning the appeal. That's going to take the fair value market cap if they do win the appeal, divide it by the current market cap, and then multiply it by 0.1 or 10%. So once we do that math, we get 2.12, and we're going to multiply that by the current share price to get 1812. That's going to be our minimum fair value, and that is a 212% increase over the current level. So that is definitely very, very promising. After that, we also are going to do our fair value calculation. This is just going to assume the standard 25% chance of winning the appeal. So that's going to be the same exact calculation here, but instead of multiplying by 0.1, the 10%, we're going to multiply it by 0.25 or 25%. That's going to lead us to realizing gains of 530% over current stock price, or a fair price value of 45.32 leading into next week's catalyst. And finally, we see a maximum fair value price of 8.49 or 849% over the current stock price. And that price equates to $72.59. So that's the math there. That's what makes sense. Like I said, just kind of think of that casino example I brought up. It doesn't make sense for FWP to be lower than 1812 heading into the decision if we know that there is a 10% chance of them winning the appeal. Because that being said, if it was 855 and we do have a 10% chance, well, that's a bet we're going to take every single time, because we know that the one time that we do end up winning the appeal and realize a 2000% gain on our investment, that's going to offset the 90% of the time that we don't win the appeal. So that's kind of the logic there. Let me know if that makes sense, or if it doesn't, just kind of comment below on this video or hit me up on Twitter and I can try to explain it a little bit better. But, at these current levels, one last thing here on the math, Wall Street is assuming that the chance of FWP to win the trial is the current market cap divided by 1.25 bill, or the minimum market cap if they were to win the appeal. And that leads us to 4.71%. That is incredibly low. And as a result, I believe there is a massive, massive arbitrage opportunity here. And I believe that investors and traders are going to take advantage of it in this coming week. Last thing we're going to do here is quickly take a look at the charts. I'm not going to go as in depth here as I normally do. Essentially what we're looking at here is we're kind of in the middle of this, zone right now here. We're just hovering right between the 750 marker and the 950 marker. And that's where we're going to be until the day where that volume comes in. And when that volume comes in, given how small this float is, we're going to start to see another massive run up in anticipation of the trial. And we're going to start to receive some of those fair value price targets that I laid out earlier. We saw this happen, like I said, in late July and early August. We saw this massive, massive spike up. And right now I'm anticipating that we will once again see that very, very soon. But, as a result, I'm not really going to get into, the key indicators and key levels like I normally do, just because it's kind of pointless. This is just a 1 week play. By next Monday, we'll know one way or the other whether the decision went in our favor or not. I'm just playing this one in lead up to the merger. I'm not actually going to, or lead up to the appeal decision. I'm not actually going to hold through that appeal decision, but I believe that we are going to see a run up prior to that. So it is better to get in early. And right now, with what the chart is showing us over the last few weeks, this stock is going to hover between that 750 and 950 level until that volume comes in. Once we get a break over that 950 level, I anticipate more and more volume is going to come in. And that's when we're going to start to see another move back into the double digits, probably all the way up to some of our zones here at 1394, 1596, and potentially pushing 52-week highs at 2031. So stay tuned for that. Not really much more to get into in the chart, but always when it comes to the chart and the technicals, I also asked you to look at volume. As you guys can see here, a big reason that we haven't seen this movement yet is just because the volume isn't there. Let's take a look at late July when we saw that massive run up. We saw there were multiple days where we had volumes of over 1 million shares trading hands. And honestly, we could see volume a lot higher than that. We could see 10 million shares trading hands or 100 million shares trading hands if enough people kind of start to realize that there is a major opportunity here heading into next week. But let me know what you think happens next for the stock. I'm always interested to hear your guys' feedback. I'm also interested if you guys have any questions for me. I know that kind of my math and logic there could have gotten a little bit confusing. So if you have any questions at all, make sure to let me know. I'm happy to answer them. If you like the video, hit me with a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe to the channel. And aside from that, have a great rest of your night.